All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we're going to talk about some comments made by Bills general manager Brandon Beane on Josh Allen, coming to Josh Allen's defense, because, there's people out there that call Josh Allen overrated. So I just wanted to get into what he had to say, and I'll give you my thoughts. So, this is what he said about the narrative that Josh Allen is one of the NFL's most overrated players. And he said there's idiots everywhere. An anonymous NFL executive was recently cited by ESPN as tabbing the two-time Pro Bowler as one of the most overrated players in the NFL. Now, this is courtesy of an article on NFL.com. Beane said, "I don't know where to start. It's frustrating. You try to ignore this stuff, but Josh is going into year 7, and there's still the naysayers. I don't get it. If I was going to use rated, I would say underrated before I say overrated. And I know I'm biased. He's our guy. I love him every single day. These things that come out of there, I know people love the rankings of whoever. But when you don't put your name to it and you make comments like that, like, who is this executive? Executive is a loose term. I was probably referred to as an executive well before I should have been. I just say, if you're not going to put your name on it, we really shouldn't validate it." And he also said he's got a natural chip, and I don't think what this person said would change that. I think he's coming into this year with a chip. He wants a title. He wants it every year. That we don't win it, it's digging a deeper chip, and I think that's what motivates him. So I do understand. I do get what he's saying. And you know what? I'm going to bring baseball into this, because you had Derek Jeter. He was one vote away from it being voted unanimously into the Hall of Fame. Now, we have no idea who voted against him not going to the Hall of Fame. And, but you have these individuals that come out and they'll say things, but they want it to be anonymous because they don't want their name being tagged to it, because then they're going to get blasted. So I do understand that. And I agree with it. Why? But why are you calling Josh Allen overrated? Now, I don't think Josh Allen is overrated. I think Josh Allen is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, he's not the most talented. That would be 15 in Kansas City. But, I mean, there's no surprise by that. But Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, where the criticism comes from, and I can't really disagree with it, is the turnovers and the lack of success in the postseason, which is the same criticisms that Lamar Jackson gets. It's how you perform in the postseason. These last couple years, back-to-back home playoff games, you lose to the Bengals and you lose to the Chiefs this year, this calendar year, because it happened in 2024. That's where the criticism comes from. And it's the same thing with Lamar Jackson. Lack of postseason success. That's really what I could point to. And the turnovers have kind of reared its ugly head in recent years, because, well, part of it is, people point to Brian Dable leaving as the, part of the reason why Josh Allen has been turning the ball over more. I did want to pull up, because they did have, so most turnovers in the NFL since 2015, and this is the SOG Football Instagram. So you got Derek Carr at the top. Josh Allen's in that second tier. Derek Carr's in like a class of his own. He's got 130 turnovers. Josh Allen's got 102. So this is 2015. Russell Wilson's got 104. Jared Goff's got 115. Matthew Stafford, 119. Jameis Winston, 123. Matt Ryan, 124. Kirk Cousins, 126. And then, Derek Carr, 130. So, and, you got Phillip Rivers in that tier with Josh Allen and Dak. Josh Allen's got more turnovers than Dak. Well, one by one. And, he was drafted 2 years later. He's got 2 less turnovers than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was drafted in 2012. You got Jared Goff, who was drafted in in 2016. Um, Matthew Stafford, he's been around for a while, of course. Jameis was 2015. Kirk Cousins was 2012. I forget the years that Matt Ryan. What was Matt Ryan was what, 2008, and Stafford was 2008 too, I believe. 2008 or 2009. I gotta fact check myself now. I need his Pro Football Reference page. I apologize that I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Oh wait, hold on. Well, yeah, he's been. Yeah. Oh, he was taken in 2009. Taken in 2009. So I think Matt Ryan. So Matt Ryan was the year before that, then, I believe. But yeah, either way, Josh Allen has turned the ball over a lot. And the turnovers kind of went down. Yeah, Matt Ryan was taken in 2008. Okay. So I was right on the money with that, 2008, 2009, with both those guys. But anyways, once Brian Dable left, the turnovers started rearing its ugly head again. But Josh Allen's a gunslinger. Like, it's going to happen. But now it's different because you got all of these, different receivers now coming in. And, no more Stephon Diggs. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting how Josh Allen performs. I mean, I think he's still going to play really well. But, to kind of just go back, 2020, he had 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. It's just really good touchdown to interception ratio. And the Bills made it all the way to the AFC Championship game. And, they did lose to the Chiefs, unfortunately. But then 2021, he had 36 touchdowns but 15 interceptions. Then he had, in 2022, 35 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. And then last year, 29 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. So, the touchdowns have slowly gone down and the interceptions have come up. But, again, he's a gunslinger. We know turnovers are going to happen with him. But now, again, you got all these different receivers. You got Chase Claypool and, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You drafted Keon Coleman. You bring in Curtis Samuel as well. Mac Hollins. There's a lot of, moving parts here. And you still got the tight ends. You still got Khalil Shakir. You got James Cook. I mean, I think the Bills are going to do good. And maybe Josh Allen could kind of do what Patrick Mahomes did in 2022. You lose Tyreek Hill, who's, one of the best offensive weapons in football, best receivers in football. And you go out there and you win a Super Bowl. Now, I don't think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, but you never know. They're like, Stephon Diggs is gone? Yeah, the Bills are going to be terrible. They're not going to make the playoffs because that's what some people were saying about the Chiefs when they lost Tyreek Hill. But, I think the Bills are going to be a 10-win team, 10, 11 wins. I think I said that for this year. I mean, I had the Jets finishing ahead of them, but who knows? You still got to give the Bills respect. And they really weren't using Diggs down the stretch. So I think they're going to be fine. We'll see how the defensive side of the ball is. We'll see how, we got Matt Milano coming back. Von Miller hopefully, could maybe find the fountain of youth. Because they paid him a lot of money. But yeah, there's a lot of guys that they, that left. So we'll see how they do. But I understand the criticism of Josh Allen, but I wouldn't classify him as overrated because he's one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL, along with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's not this big, huge guy like Josh Allen is, but, Josh Allen's going to barrel over people. He's got that, similar play style to Cam Newton. Now, you hope that doesn't, affect him down the line because, then he can end up like Cam Newton. And, after all that wear and tear you're taking, constantly getting hit. Um, but yeah, he's one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL, and that's going to continue. But I think you also got to rely on James Cook, take some pressure off of him, and we got to see who's going to step up. Keon Coleman, they're expecting big things out of. MVS and Claypool are probably going to be, they're there for depth. Because I think really the top three receivers, it's going to be, again, I'm just saying this. You got Keon Coleman. I think, I'm on that Khalil Shakir hype train. Now, maybe that's also has to do with fantasy purposes as well because he's on one of my dynasty teams. And then you got Curtis Samuel, who I think is a good player. And Curtis Samuel, they've had line up in the back. Well, not with the Bills, but, with other teams. He's lined up in the backfield before. They could use him. They could have him coming out of the backfield and dumping off passes to him. So, I don't know. I think that, and you still got, and like I said, you still got the tight ends as well, Kincaid and Knox. The Bills, yeah, you might look at their receiving core and they don't have that number one wide receiver, but I think they're still going to be a good enough offense that they're going to be a threat because of Josh Allen. So, but yeah, like I said, the interceptions have gone up, the touchdowns have gone down. So this year you're hoping that it's the opposite. Josh Allen's touchdowns are back up again. More specifically, I think you want to see the turnovers down. So, but that's my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think, though. Do you think Josh Allen's overrated or not? I don't think he is, but again, I understand from certain people's perspectives why they would think that. Because the Bills are a team that makes the playoffs every year, and they don't get it done. Last year, yeah, you beat the Steelers, but what happened when you had the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes playing in his first road playoff game? You had the Chiefs at home, and they couldn't get it done. Now, can't say that all of that falls on Josh Allen, but that's what people look at. They look at the lack of playoff success. They look at these home playoff games that the Bills lose, and they're gonna a large portion of the blame is gonna fall at the feet of Josh Allen because of the position he plays. Speaking of the position that Josh Allen plays, we're going to talk about the Steelers playoff, the Steelers quarterback competition. Some recent comments by Mike Tomlin. We'll get into what he had to say, and that is how we will end off the show for today. So for one final time today, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.